Alright, so the next thing we can probably do, and that is the fact that I believe that one of those jiggies is actually requires that we can able to, once again, we need to split up between Banjo and Kazooie. So in this case, we'll go ahead and split up and switch over to Kazooie, and we can able to actually just to fetch the speedy shoes for her. So that way we can able to actually get ourselves another one of those jiggies we can get. So hopefully we should probably try to do this as much as we can. So either way though, let's just go ahead and run fast and then just try to able to enter here, and then entering this particular secret area that we can able to, well, go into the forms of that particular Jolly Roger's Lagoon in the Smuggler's Cavern. And you have to do a bit of a timing going on right there, especially noticeable. You have to keep your ears peeled for the actual TikTok clock is ticking, and as soon as that particular thing runs out, you have to do it in exactly the correct timing with your jump, and especially noticeable if you're trying to like flap her wings, and especially noticeable with what else, trying to able to actually use that attack as well. That way you can get yourselves the jiggy in the process. So it's definitely a bit tricky if you're trying to do it on the first attempt, but well, at least to be more specifically though, that I was expecting to able to try to do that particular jiggy for the first attempt, but of course my capture card keeps on glitching all the time, so this is actually my, I would say it's my third attempt actually, I'm presuming so anyway. So anyway, so now we're done with that, and now let's go ahead and head back into this particular shop thingy right there. And because of that though, as you can see, we actually stumbled across another one of those Cheeto pages, and except the fact that, well, I believe we do now need to pay for about 5 coins, so, and since we haven't got enough of them, so hopefully we would be able to actually get 5 of those doubloons. So hopefully I should be able to try to find them as much as I can. So well, at the moment right now we've only got 3 of them at the moment, although usually I accidentally say we haven't got any of them at the moment, but turns out I've already managed able to get 3 of them, so my mistake. I do apologize for that, especially noticeable it's been like 2 days ago since I actually last touched this game, so but hopefully we would try to able to go ahead and memorize certain things. So anyway, so let's go ahead and grab these last 2 doubloons right there, and if you manage to grab all of the doubloons, you're able to actually get yourselves a nice gamer picture reward. So yeah, that seems kind of cool right there. And of course, much like the game, much like Banjo-Tooie on the Xbox Live Arcade version, most likely, you're able to actually get the picture icon rewards. Although, unlike the N64 original version, that particular notification didn't show up at all, because obviously the N64 version doesn't seem to have those rewards like that. So, oh well, no big deal, but at least we can able to actually just get ourselves our next Cheeto page right there. So let's go ahead and spend on 5 of those doubloons right there, so hopefully we would able to, you know, obtain that specific reward on that particular item, I should say. So yeah, anyway, today's day is of course the 15th of September today, in this case in 2021 today. And as a result though, that we pretty much almost at the halfway point, or generally speaking, we're pretty much at the halfway point right now on during the course of September already, before we move on to the forms of one of those biggest months of all, for this year anyway for me. That is of course October, which, because obviously with Metroid Dread, and as well as Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, and of course Mario Party Superstars. So, and yeah, speaking of the forms of Mario Party Superstars, recently that, according to some websites out there, they've managed to able to actually found the Japanese pre-order item bonus, and they stumbled across some familiar icons from certain minigames. Like, for instance, in the Japanese pre-order bonuses, they are able to receive a double-sided poster, which is the main artwork, along with the forms of some of these icons based off from, well, characters, as well as certain minigames they'll stumble across. Like, I believe, for instance, we might as well get another 2 minigames from Mario Party 2, along with another minigame based off from Mario Party 3, and, wow, it looks like that both Mario Party 2 and Mario Party 3 were able to get a lot of minigames for it. Like, for instance, let's start with Mario Party 2 first, to see if there are some minigames that I might as well confirmed and bring back. Like, for instance, I think the first one is the classic one of the bunch. That is, of course, shell-shocked. So yeah, about time to able to actually have the HD version of shell-shocked. Even though technically we've already got ourselves the HD version of shell-shocked, but it informs of in Super Mario Party's case for, you know, shell-shocked deluxe. So, apart from the fact that it's usually been, only existent on Toad's Rec Room. So, yeah, that seems pretty awesome to able to see shell-shocked return here. So, for a second time nonetheless, ever since in the top 100. So, but I digress. And another minigame they did bring back, at least I'm expecting so anyway, and that is Hammer Slammer from Mario Party 2 item minigame. Because obviously that minigame takes place in Spaceland, of all things, because you know, Spaceland is definitely coming to Mario Party Superstars, I would imagine. And yeah, can't wait to see how that's going to turn out in full HD. So, and also about that time as well, that we so far managed to able to technically get 2 item games. So far anyway. So, I'm not exactly sure if 2 item minigames will be enough for the sake of the whole entirety of the forms of the item minigames department, but we'll see what happens until the next few days. So, but I digress. And as you can see, we've managed to able to activate something inside the UFO, and if you try to solve that problem out, then basically we get ourselves another Jiggy that's usually hidden underneath, well, the UFO itself. So, that seems cool all in all. So, and they'll head over to the Snowy Mountain, which that's not gonna happen until later on throughout the whole entire game. So, hopefully we'll see them again. So, I digress. And the next minigame, as far as I'd like to able to mention, and that is the fact that one of those minigames in Mario Party 3 will make a return, and it's going to be in 2 vs 2 category, and that is of course Picking Panic. So at this point in time, I'm pretty sure that Mario Party 3 has a lot of minigames. Like, certainly it's kind of similar the way in the top 100 version, that Mario Party 5 has a lot of minigames in the top 100 selection, which sometimes it can be good on some minigames, or in some cases quite bad in some situations, most notably for certain dual minigames, ranging from button mashers, because it's pretty awkward to play, and also Shy Guy Showdown, which is more likely the watered down version of, you know, quick draw corks. So, anyway. Okay, sorry for this jump cut right there. I apologize for that, another jump cut right there. Because obviously with, again, capture card glitches again. So, but at least thankfully I did manage to able to cut that bit off. So, anyway, so here's the next section we can hop into. And that is the fact that if you pay attention to the actual symbols if you see on the distance, basically we need to follow a puzzle syndrome. And basically if you're trying to follow these correct, icons in the correct order, basically you would be able to actually activate something in that particular temple, as you can see. So because of that though, thankfully though, that unlike in several other water sections throughout the majority of the game, thankfully you don't need to worry about the forms of the lack of air meter, because obviously you can able to breathe at any point. So, but anyways, if you follow this correct sequence, as you can see, basically this allows you to able to actually go inside the temple itself. So, yeah, that seems pretty standard stuff for the most part. And why is my shadow keeps on flickering all of a sudden? But oh well, no big deal. But at least we can now able to actually explore into this particular area right now, Temple of the Fishes, right there. And if we try to grab some more eggs, specifically the ice eggs, most likely, because I'm almost going to be wasting more. So that's the reason why, as you notice, on the actual the ice eggs counter, that seems to have gone almost lower at the moment, mainly because of how the fact that, well, potentially speaking, that I was expecting to do the actual the code section, but of course I failed several times during that specific glitchy recording session, but luckily I did manage to done this for reals. So anyway, so we stumbled across the pig-like character, which, well, again, I do apologize with the actual commentary. It gets a little bit, sloppy for the most part, apart from the fact that I've already mentioned about the good thing about today, and that is, of course, happy 20th anniversary of the Nintendo GameCube system, at least in Japan anyway. So either way though, yeah, because chances are though that, you know, the GameCube is still, looks fantastic even to this day, despite the informs that the amount of sales, it doesn't go nearly as high, compared to the N64 or any other like systems for that matter. So, but at the very least, that the GameCube system still looks very, very damn good. Really damn good, I should say. So, either way though, we can expect this much. So, anyways, I believe we come across into one of those objectives that we can probably do next, and that is the fact that I believe we need to protect that particular pig-like character, and then basically, as soon as he reaches down, basically we do need to defend him by dealing with these little fishy muncher enemies that we can only deal with by keep on shooting eggs at them while in underwater. So, yeah, that definitely seems a little bit more, well, obvious for that specific objective right there, so we can able to expect it. So, anyway, and I suppose another thing I should probably explain about this as well, that recently we actually did manage to receive the first ever movie clip on the forms of My Little Pony: A New Generation, and from what I've seen it's actually super cute and adorable. Oh, wait a second, I just realized, since one of those fishes already managed able to bite that particular pig, this means I'm gonna have to able to try again, so that's just great. But thankfully, we can able to actually keep on trying it again and again and again if you mess it up, so I guess that makes it obvious. So, anyway, and I suppose another thing I should probably explain about this as well, that, at least according to the forms of some of the YouTube channels out there, recently that they actually sent in some more pictures or some more info on Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. That is the forms of another one of those cool modes to have. That is the forms of the point shop mode. And basically, the point shop are basically, it's kind of like, I would say technically like similar to party points from the past Super Monkey Ball games since Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2, and that way all you can do with it is the fact that you can able to purchase quite a number of things like special modes and characters, costumes and cosmetics and all that stuff, which I will say that Monkey Ball Banana Mania will still be a big, huge game for me, especially that that game will be a lot of replay value to it. So this means you can able to replay several stuff, as you can tell, because as a result, I am still so looking forward to able to play that game, even for multiple platforms actually, on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and of course Nintendo Switch versions. I can play those games on the go, on the Switch version nonetheless. So, speaking of the Nintendo Switch though, recently, thank God, that the Sonic Colors Ultimate on the Switch has recently got a new update just recently. That is the fact that, remember the forms of those dangerous seizure-inducing segments? That it was there during the course of Day 1 edition, if you managed to able to first pre-order Sonic Colors Ultimate on the Switch? Well, thank goodness the seizure-inducing are gone, so because of that though, no need for casualties for that specific seizure-inducing, thankfully. Although it still has some problems though, most notably with the forms of music still glitches up, which they'll definitely need to fix that at some point. As well as from that, the obnoxious loading times, which is still present there, and I suppose also some couple of glitches here and there as well, ranging from, well, let's just say you almost get fluked off every now and then, as well as the animation does not appear in, specifically, in Starlight Carnival Act 3, that your starting up animation doesn't show up until the actual, like, it's kind of hard to say, honestly, because I know that I still haven't got the game physically yet, though, sadly, but at least I can still wait for it. Especially noticeable, I can still manage to play WarioWare Get It Together after all, so hopefully I can able to actually just well, play that game for the time being until Sonic Colors Ultimate will be finally coming out physically in the UK. Although luckily for Japan and America, they managed to get the game physically, luckily, so Yeah, I guess it makes it obvious, despite the fact that we still gonna have to cope with that EMEA delivery problems, which is kind of problematic for my taste, especially noticeable that I've been dying to able to actually play in Sonic Colors again, but this time in gorgeous HD, but at least on the PS4 version and the Xbox One versions most likely, so yeah, that pretty much summed up from there. And also, speaking of the phones of PlayStation 4/PlayStation 5, recently we got ourselves some new updates for the PlayStation 5. Mainly for likely, they managed able to improve quite a number of things. Like, for instance, they've now able to actually, well, I would say, if you'd managed to, like, for example, download the games digitally, both, well, specifically, Sackboy: A Huge Adventure on the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One. No, not the Xbox One version, because Little Big Planet is not Microsoft, so I'm truly sorry about that, folks. It's just the fact that, well, the only thing is kind of a problem for me for today, and that is the fact that I was expecting that they were able to bring the final Nintendo Direct for the sake of the whole entirety of, well, let's just say the forms of the Nintendo Direct for September this month, but I keep on just managed able to refreshing the actual YouTube page and stuff like that, but still no luck. Especially noticeable after the events of 2016, 17, 18, 19, and some portions in 2020, that we always get every Nintendo Direct during the course of, well, the majority of September, which I was expecting if we might able to get one for the sake of this year too, but unfortunately though, we still haven't got any luck of able to actually get that announcement yet, so, but hopefully we will do at some point, but I don't know when though. So anyway, that was going and, you know, drove down there, and we can able to stumble across into the sea bottom cavern, and as you can tell, we actually stumbled across into yet another new transformation that is actually introduced in this game. That's what appears to be a submarine banjo, and what you can do with it is the fact that, well, basically, you can able to actually just shoot torpedoes at several other, like, anything else for the most part, and that's as far as I can usually describe about the forms of the submarine. So it does look pretty cool though, especially noticeable you can able to actually just go and just blast some of these other, like, mine bombs and stuff like that. So yeah, that seems pretty cool and satisfying if you're trying to able to keep on blowing those things up, exponentially speaking. So either way though, you probably expect it. And I get another achievement, so yeah, I guess that's like a cool thing. In fact, I actually did manage to obtain 2 things from my, well, from my Xbox guide button notification. So yeah, that seems pretty awesome and wicked at the same time. So in this case, I got the Gamer Picture Reward and the forms of the achievement. So, now I believe to get the Jiggy in this particular location, and that's the fact that, well, we do need to aim for about 60 or so points. And if you do manage to get 60 or over, then the Jiggy will be yours. So, yeah, there we go. So, top notch. So anyways, let's get to back to another discussion I want to mention for the brownies out there, including myself. Of course, I've seen a new clip of My Little Pony, A New Generation, and it's so cute and adorable. Basically, I believe that, well, Sunny just managed to able to stumble across Easy, and then they somehow managed to able to, like, well, there's that clip called 7 Questions of Unicorns or something like that, even though it has been like a couple of hours ago since I actually last seen the clip, and oh man, I'm still looking forward to it though. And in fact, I think we've only got about, I would classify for saying, only like 19 days, oh no, 9 days to go actually. So either way though, I do apologize if my commentary gets a little bit iffy, because I'm always gets like, kind of ticked off at the moment with all this, you know, with the lack of direct announcements yet, so, I mean, jeez, it's like last year all over again, which is to be expected. But at the very least, we got something at the beginning as well as the middle portion of the year. But as far as the ending goes, well, towards it, almost towards the end, we still have no luck trying to able to actually figure out when exactly is it going to draw out for that particular direct announcement. So, anyway, so if we blast into here, then we actually stumble across the forms ourselves. I would classify for saying a next boss, so yeah, we can definitely see that Jiggy down there, so we can expect this much. Oh god! Lord Fake. Oh jeez, it looks pretty devastating from the looks of this angular fish. So yeah, that might be something worth a while. And plus, we got to deal with this boss fight in the dark. So yeah, that could be kind of difficult, I must be honest here. So, oh yeah, I should probably mention about something, and that is the fact that, well, according to some other interviews out there, that specifically for speaking of Sonic Colors Ultimate, somehow those three things in particular, ranging from the one of those difficulty modes, as well as the forms of one of those features in online play, and of course another playable character, are sadly scrapped. So ranging from the forms of the difficulty setting, which is really easy mode, like, let's hope that, I believe that specifically with really easy mode, it's like having Tails save mode or something like that, and then able to actually have the normal option or something, where you can able to play the regular game as normal, but it turns out that's been scrapped. And also in the online feature, it ranges from Ghost Racer, which is also scrapped as well, meaning it's like you're able to beat the fastest time compared to anyone else or something like that. And finally, perhaps even most notable thing is the fact that sadly playable Metal Sonic is also scrapped as well. So it will be a pretty good package if you manage able to include those features, but apparently, sadly, those features are scrapped. So yeah, that's not good, especially noticeable because I was expecting to be able to see something new, but it seems that to be more specifically, it's just the fact that, well, because the thing is going on at the moment right now across the world, that means everything else will be entirely screwed by then. So I have no words to say about this, honestly, because I know it has been quite a few days since I actually did manage to be able to get back into this commentary session, so... But anyway, back into the forms of Banjo-Tooie for a moment. Basically, in this entire boss fight, basically, we have to use the, well, the actual lock-on cursor if you found yourselves the easiest method to deal with this boss. And basically, luckily for you, you do have unlimited amount of torpedoes. And if you manage to try to keep on shooting at the forms of those little, weak spots around in his body, like the forms of those yellow glowing spots, basically, that's your chance to able to damage him. So even though pretty easy boss fight though, assuming this is on a dark room. So because of that though, that was the only toughest part about this fight, and that is the fact that sometimes if you almost got cornered, sometimes though you always have to make sure that you have to be like, well, super cautious without even getting hit by, you know, the actual boss fight itself. So as a result though, there's going to be plenty of chance that you might able to actually get hit a lot. So yeah, keep that in mind. So anyway, let's just go ahead and keep on shooting those little weak spots, and these bloods keep spewing out. But of course, if you think you're done with this guy, well, turns out he's not done yet. So because of that though, all he needs to do now is the fact that I'm presuming we need to now hit his eyes. So, which makes us a grand total of like, well, let's just say we've already hit him like 6 times on specific spots, but now we need to aim for his eyes 6 times. So this means we have to hit him for about roughly 12 hits. So yeah, that does seem quite a lot for the sake of the actual amount of hit points you can able to actually just to guaranteed by that. So yeah, anyway, yes, you have to keep on shooting at him, and that's all you have to do for this entire fight. So, and while trying to deal with the, you know, swimming around in the dark, which is kind of tricky to pull this off, but I digress. Oh, speaking of such though, I don't suppose I actually mentioned about, during the course of the previous parts of this game in particular, I can't even believe it's been about 4 years ago since when, how good the Nintendo Direct was back in, 13th of September in 2017. Like, obviously, I think my biggest highlight for that particular Direct back then is, I would classify for saying, Metroid Samus Returns, which is more accurately like almost like a remake of Metroid 2, Return of Samus from the Game Boy, as well as from that, Super Mario Odyssey of course, and especially noticeable with Mario Party the Top 100, despite the fact that that particular package is completely shallow, and also it's like, not jam-packed with content, I must be honest. I think, suffice to say, until specifically later on in next month, then pretty much that Superstars will definitely dominate it for the sake of the forms of the amount of content we can possibly get. Assuming they're able to actually have a new trailer or something, or even possibly with the forms of the new Direct or something like that, or the last general Direct, until we moved on to 2022. So, yeah, but then again, it's currently unknown at the moment, so... But either way though, I'm just getting a little bit paranoid at first, so... But I don't know. Anyway, so let's go ahead and leave the area, and I suppose we can probably able to transform back into regular Banjo and Kazooie forms, but of course before we get into that though, we need to able to hit onto the actual warp pad and try to teleport us back to the Atlantis location, and hopefully we can able to have a bit of a wander around for a moment to see if there's any actually, this is the wrong way, isn't it? Yeah, this is the wrong way, because I can show to you, it pretty much leads me to the forms of that octopus thing right there, so let's not go there, because, well, that pretty much leads me to the octopus enemy, so let's not worry about that right now. So instead, we'll just go ahead and swim or drive into this way, so hopefully we would be able to, well, trying to able to actually go back into Humpa Wumpa's tent and stuff, so... Yeah, I suppose another thing I should probably explain about this as well, during the films of, well, to be more specifically, with the films of how the main plot of WarioWare Get It Together game, as far as I'm concerned, that particular plot in the beginning portion of the game, it looks kind of similar to the forms of how it does it on the beginning portion of the story mode in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, except the biggest difference is the fact that obviously that, well, Mario and Sonic, Dr. Eggman, and Bowser, including Toad, are the only characters managed to get trapped inside the game system, whilst the forms of WarioWare Get It Together is everyone else, well, including some other characters as well, which again, I'm not gonna spoil things majorly. Well, I've already mentioned about Penny will be in the game, so which I've already mentioned about it with that one specific tiny bit of that spoiler alert territory, so but again, I must be honest, I apologize for that, so for that specific spoiler warning, so... Anyway, so let's just go ahead and keep on swimming about, and just in case if there are some missing parts I was missing, but again, it will take a while to able to actually figure out there are some specific stuff that I seem to be missing, but oh well, no big deal, but at least we can able to try to deal with the forms of a lot of like, you know what I mean, backtracking most of the time and all the other jazz, but regardless of everything else though, that's as far as I can usually wager, so... Anyway, and yeah, I suppose that's about it. That's as far as I can say about the forms of that discussion for this point today. Well, at least I'm glad that Sonic Colors Ultimate on the Switch version gets its first, well, technically like a new update. They're able to actually get rid of the seizure-reducing stuff, which is a good thing. But it still might not be the best version of the game still, due to like, well, you know what I mean, long loading times, and as well as the forms of, well, to be more specifically, it does need a bit more polish for, you know, certain animation errors, as well as the forms of they need to fix the actual, the sound, or especially noticeable if they need to able to have music in every single segment for sometimes, so... And I believe, relatively speaking of the sounds though, unfortunately though, the sound mixing issues are still bad, so they're gonna have to able to do the adjustment for trying to fix that at some point, which I don't know when they're able to try to do that, but hopefully they will do at some point, but again, it's kind of hard to tell right now, because I know that I still haven't got the game yet due to the EMEA delivery lacking services and stuff like that, which is always, you know, very buggy me most of your time, or most of my time anyway though, but again, I can still play some other Switch games for a while, such as, of course, Rayman Legends Definitive Edition, as well as Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, and, of course, WarioWare Get It Together, the newest game that I'm actually going to be able to be playing through, so... Alright, so we got another black ginger right there. So, yeah, that seems pretty cool all in all. And let's see, for the views total we've got. Oh, that's the wrong world, because obviously I did manage to able to look it up on certain things on my own time. And, obviously because well, I wasn't paying attention, sorry. So either way though, let's have a look. So we got 3 Jiggies left, 1 extra honeycomb piece left, and 1 more Cheeto page. So we'll try to get these collectibles done. And again, much like in the forms of the second world and the third world, there wasn't any possibility we can probably able to actually gather every single Jiggies, because, well, again, we'll have to go into the forms of the future worlds in the future to able to try to sort out the forms of the last few objectives here and there. So hopefully we'll try to sort this out if we can. So, oh god, this bit does remind me of something. It reminds me of so much of the longest level in Sonic Unleashed, actually, by the forms of Eggman Land. Like, you have to dodge those little fan blades and stuff like that. But at least, thankfully, we can able to use those ice eggs to able to actually make those spinning pillow stuff frozen. So, well, only for a short amount of time, because usually the ice eggs doesn't last for long for certain occasions. So, yeah, I guess that makes it obvious for the sake of time right there. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and keep on swimming about, and I get the strong sense of feeling that in order to able to actually get ourselves the last few bits and bobs with all these little, well, it's kind of hard to explain because I know, again, it's been such a long while since I actually done some commentary, and also that I do apologize with the actual, any sort of news or updates I can possibly mention, but honestly, there's not much else I can say because, well, it's just, that's pretty much about it for the sake of information I'd like to bring out. So, of course, I still need to be more precise with that specific iced egg shot for that octopus thingy right there. So again, it has to be so precise right there if you manage to try to able to... Oh, no, 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 no. I refuse to able to actually gain knocked back by his tentacles, so no need for that. No thanks. So anyway, and oh yeah, and another thing I want to mention about this as well, I've almost 100% everything in terms of WarioWare Inc. Minigame Mania on the Game Boy Advance. Like, at the moment right now, I've actually unlocked every single micro games, but every now and then, the only thing I need to do now is to beat certain high scores on every single micro games now. And once I'm done with that, then I can basically move on to the next WarioWare game, which, aside from Get It Together, along with Gold, and especially noticeable, I probably might get back into Smooth Moves, that despite the fact that my game disc is almost going to scratch up, but it still works though, surprisingly. Well, at least, to be more specifically, it still works very, very well. No stutters or anything, so that seems to be a good thing. And, also, that I might as well go on to WarioWare Twisted for the sake of, like, trying to able to get, well, every single micro games to get. So, along with the forms of several of unlockables here now too. So, but that can take a really long while though, until whenever I do those specific stuff. So, but hopefully that might as well be the case. So, anyways, let's go and activate Kazooie's Torpedo move, and able to actually bust out these little Kazooie icon doors that we can able to bust it open, and sure enough, we can able to actually just proceed to the next sections. So anyway, and yeah, unfortunately though, there's not much else I can say, honestly guys, because again, there's only like quite a few things I would like to say, but it's just the fact I'm just getting pretty annoyed with all this, like, I know I'm being impatient at the moment when it comes to likely new things is about to come, but aside from that though, that's as far as I can honestly try to talk about. So anyway, and oh, and by the way, someone sent a comment saying about the fact that they've managed to able to actually bring well, let's just say recently, Cartoon Network launched a new preschool blog, and that is, of course, calls it Cartoonito. So, yeah, that does look pretty cool though for preschool audiences as far as back in the day. Well, at least as far as I don't normally watch that much cartoonito that much just because, well, I'm just basically grown up. So, but I've definitely heard some bits about it though, but it's just the fact that it's not my cup of tea anymore just because I basically just moved on. So, oh, and also, during the course of, in Japan, in, recently yesterday as well, along with Luigi's Mansion, Super Monkey Ball for the Nintendo GameCube is also 2 decades old now. So, yeah, if you think that the original Monkey Ball game was, 20 years old, at least in the arcade machines, well, turns out Super Monkey Ball for the GameCube also becomes 20 years old recently. So, yeah, that seems likely a double of the pack with those Super Monkey Ball games, along with the forms of some of the occasional Flash games. Like, let's just say, one of those Flash games calls it Super Monkey Ball Mini, which is basically, it's like a mini scroll version of the regular Monkey Ball game, but except the fact that you're able to take control of the mouse to able to control the stage, which it does look a bit awkward though while playing it, but for its time, it's pretty impressive before the game actually came out in June in 2001, and yeah, I believe that Flash game is also 20 years old, despite the fact that I'm pretty sure that most people, unfortunately, though, can't able to play the game anymore just because of the forms of that particular Adobe Flash player just somehow ending services, which is kind of sucks if you ask me. Well, at least I still managed able to still access to Super Smash Flash 2 on the downloadable game as far as I'm concerned. At least, for that particular game, I don't need to worry about the forms of the actual closure services for, well, you know what I mean, when it comes to likely trying to, like, play the game and then just, like, not to worry about the forms of the Flash Adobe player and stuff like that, so. But yeah, you get the idea for that. Oh, and I believe also Pikmin is also in 20th anniversary as well, as far as I would like to mention, but, yeah, that's as far as I can try to say it, but again, it has been such a long while since I actually did manage to done some, you know, some conversations or even commentating on certain things, which, again, to be expected by this point, so I must admit I do apologize, so, oh, it contains X inside, so, that seems pretty worthless, able to check in there, but, now what? Oh, wait a second, there might be another, section I can go to, but that is that we can probably... Actually, kind of think about it, I think I somehow accidentally ignored that. As soon as I managed to transform into the submarine transformation, and I forgot to realize that one of those see-through fishes does manage to contain something important, so... Yeah, I guess we're able to double check on there, so hopefully we would be able to actually just to obtain, well, another one of the Jiggies, as you see right there. So we're now on to 39 Jiggies out of 90, so because of that, let's double check on the views total amount, and it seems that, well, we've only got 2 Jiggies left, and we're still missing 1 extra honeycomb piece left. So, I believe, if I recall correctly, it's gonna be once again takes place in somewhere during the course of that particular, well, I would say I would like to classify for mentioning something and that's another see-through fish, which I'm pretty sure that seems true for that knowledge, so... Anyway, so let's go ahead and swim back a bit, and well, since that's, well... Again, I do apologize for the actual lack of commentary, but, although, on the upside is, though, is the fact that recently I've actually managed to got myself, the new, another color variation of Yoshi recently today, on, Mario Kart Tour, nonetheless. And because of that, though, I've now managed to able to get Pink Yoshi, so I've basically now got, I would say, 4 variations of Yoshis, so, yeah, that seems top-notch and cool, so, well, despite the fact that I still really don't like the game all that much for Mario Kart Tour. Speaking of such though, we've only got about 10 more days to go actually until that particular game will be officially become 2 years old. So, But I suppose we'll let Jewel will mention more about it until when she goes back on to Mario Party 6. So, yeah, that definitely seems like it. So, anyway, so now we got ourselves the extra honeycomb piece, and again, we would like to able to fully complete it, the whole entire world, but of course there's nothing we can do at the moment, because obviously we do need to hit on to the next few worlds, so hopefully that should be the case. So, anyways, I think we are basically done for now for Jolly Roger's Lagoon, at least for now anyway. And because of that though, let's double check on the forms of the views totals once again. So hopefully we're able to double check if there are some missing parts or not. And sure enough, we've only got 2 jiggies left. But that's not going to be until for a very, very long time. So hopefully we would able to get the chance by able to complete this world as soon as possible. So anyway, so now we've gone through that, and I suppose we can probably head back into Jiggy Wiki's temple, and we can probably take on the forms of another one of those challenges. And although at the moment we can probably do one, just only one this time around, as opposed to the ones how it does it on multiple challenges. Like, we done 3 challenges last time, so we can probably do one from now on. So, although before we get into that, as you can see, I've managed to stumble across the blue Jinjo, so, which that's one thing I totally forgot to able to actually just to realize that from the start, because obviously that I wasn't paying attention to it at first. So, anyway, so we got ourselves about 39 jiggies, and we actually got enough by able to actually do another Jiggy Wiki's challenge. So, hopefully we can probably do Jiggy Wiki's challenge number, I would say this is the 7th challenge. So, in this case though, I wonder what this place is going to take place. Although that's not going to be there for a very, very long time until whenever we get into those worlds in a correct order. Like, for instance, that, I believe the next world we're going to be hop into is something related to the dinosaur world. So, that world should be up next. So, anyways, let's try to fill up the piece as much as we can, and, well, seems like I'm not doing too bad, even though the only time exception is the fact that sometimes I always get a bit, sidetracked for a moment, whenever I was trying to place those specific correct spawning pieces and stuff like that, but either way, we'll try to able to, there we go, and now it's just a matter of 2 pieces left, so we can able to switch things around. And there we go, this particular challenge is complete. So, and this appears to be on that specifically the train station location on one of those worlds. So, excuse me. And, yeah, that's pretty much as far as I can say about it. So once again, we're going to be seeing this little, you know, the almighty of the power of Jiggy Wiki, behold the power of the mighty Jiggy Wiki, as far as I like to say. And this will open up the next world, which we ended up back in the Isle of Heeks. And it turns out, remember that bridge that we've already activated from earlier ago? Well, we can now able to actually access in this world right there. And this appears to be a culmination of... crap. I forgot about the forms of my Xbox Live, disconnections. So, hold on a second, guys. In fact, we'll try to, like, do that, once we leave this particular, temple right there. So, yeah, I totally forgot that my, Xbox Live connections is disconnected. So, yeah, hold on a second, guys. Okay, there we go. I managed to fix my Xbox Live connection, so it should be stable for the most part. So, anyways, let's head over to back into the Pine Grove section of the Isle of Heeks. And since that we can now able to actually progress, thanks to the forms of that specific torpedo move for Kazooie, so that means we can now able to actually bust out this rock. And of course, since we're actually going into the actual the open world kind of environment, so this means that we're going back into the air meter system. So because of that though, unlike Jolly Roger's Lagoon, so this means that, well, obviously that I don't have infinite amount of air. So, oh well, no big deal. Not the end of the world, but usually it just goes by very fast, as you can see there. So, anyways, let's go and progress, and we can follow the trails of those specific wheel markers and stuff. And it turns out we stumbled across another boss fight. So, oh, what do we have right here? we have the one and only Klongo again since the very beginning of the game. Except now, he's got beaten up, so likely about the fact that his shirt is all messed up and he now got 2 bruised eyes, so I'm guessing that we have managed to beat him a lot, so, well, technically ever since the very beginning of the game, so, yeah, that basically explains it, so, yeah, guessing we're having a rematch against with Klongo. And this time, he now got his different potion. And this means this time, rather than growing into huge size, he's now transforming into invincible. So this means that we must guess where he is. So, basically the entire boss fight plays out exactly like the forms of how it does it from before, except now we need to go after him while he was invincible. So, this means about the fact that we need to able to, well, keep an eye on it, and then basically, I kinda wish they were able to actually have ourselves a bit of a drop shadow, so that way we can able to see him better, but it turns out it's all about guessing, so we'll try to go with the forms of the guesswork and stuff like that, but that's okay, because the entire boss fight, well, it's pretty pathetically easy when you get the hang of it though, so either way though, once again you have to watch out for these little specific potions that he's tossing at, and because obviously you really can't afford to get hurt, but if you deal with him just like that, as you see, then he's basically done for good for the second time, so yeah, he basically doesn't want to give up, doesn't he? Because obviously that he really wants to go after Gruntilda or Grunty or anything else like that. So anyway, so it looks like he got away again. So, and since we did manage to beat him for the second time, so this means we can now probably progress to the next portion of the forms of this giant world of the forms of Isle of Heeks. So in this case, we're now going to be ended up in the Wasteland. So yeah, that seems pretty sparse and all that stuff. Now before we end off the video there is that particular next move we can learn. That is the forms of the next types of eggs, and this time it's Clockwork Kazooie eggs. And I believe these are the last types of eggs we'll stumble across. So, and basically these eggs will allow you to able to actually activate the Clockwork Kazooie remote control eggs, and basically you can able to use them on certain jiggies or what have you. So yeah, that seems pretty cool. And of course, before we end this off, there's some more music notes to grab, and I believe that oh god, we have ourselves 2 Jinjos. One is a fake, and the other one is real. So thankfully we've got the real Jinjo there, whilst we can able to ignore the fake one, so we can able to expect it. So we need to activate that as well. So anyway, I think suffice to say that we'll probably go ahead and end things off here. So join me next time on Let's Play Banjo-Tooie. That is the fact that we'll hit on to the forms of the next world, and that will appears to be, well, I don't know what the next world is going to be, but I'll mention more about it in next video, so I'll see you then.